And, on the behalf of my family, I just want to say that we are beyond sorry, grief stricken in the highest of the highest. Why? Why, Stefan? And that's the whole family's, that's all of us. Why? Why would you do that?
47-year-old Talina Henderson, also known as Tina, lived in Lexington, Kentucky, and she had worked at UK Healthcare since 2001. Talina had been married to 59-year-old Stefan Henderson since March of 2016. However, things in their relationship started to go downhill, and in March of 2021, they had separated. Come November the 20th, Talina filed for an emergency protection order because she stated that her husband was armed and dangerous and verbally and emotionally abusive. She claimed there were weapons in the house as well. However, the judge did not immediately grant the protective order, and on the court action section of the petition, it includes the comment of no imminent threat. Instead, a hearing was scheduled for November 30th in Fayette Circuit Court. Talina was not the first woman to file for a protection order against Stefan Henderson. An emergency protection order was requested in 2014 when a victim alleged that Stefan had hit them in the face with an open hand while they were pinned to the bed, according to the court documents. This order was granted by a former Fayette County Family Court judge, and the order stated that Stefan Henderson be restrained from committing further acts of abuse or threats of abuse, and that he be restrained from disposing of or damaging any property, according to court documents. Prior to that, Stefan Henderson was found guilty of fourth-degree aggravated assault, spousal abuse, which is a misdemeanor, and that was in June of 1998. At that time, he was sentenced to 90 days in jail, with 83 of those days suspended. Henderson also received a sentence of supervised probation for 2 years. Stefan Henderson has also been previously convicted of a felony drug charge. He was not allowed to own a gun as a convicted felon, according to court records. So Talina's husband had a past with some of the same actions. However, on November 21st, the day after she tried to get a protective order, Talina filed a petition to dissolve the marriage completely. In the order, she wrote that her husband had threatened her if she continued with the divorce. According to court documents, the couple had been staying in their residence together, but were in separate rooms. He was on one side of the house and she was on the other. On the day the petition was filed, she said he had barged into her room in a threatening manner and refused to allow her to have any space. She wrote in the petition that she was not allowed to close any doors, and she stated, and I quote, "Tonight when he was threatening me, he was so close to me that I was afraid of being hit or hurt. I called the police and was recommended to file a EPO, which is an emergency protection order, because as they were talking to him, they could hear the anger that he had in his voice." A few days had passed, and on the day before Thanksgiving, according to police, they said they received a call around 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon from a man who told them he had just shot his wife at a home on Bay Colony Lane off Sandersville Road. When the police arrived at the home, they went inside and found Talina Henderson dead from multiple gunshot wounds. Stefan Henderson surrendered to officers without incident. She did what she was supposed to do by law to try to get a protection order from her husband, but unfortunately the judge was not able to grant the protection that day. According to Kentucky law, when reviewing a petition for an emergency protection order, judges base their decision off Kentucky Revised Statutes 403.720 to determine if there's an immediate threat of abuse or domestic violence. The petition for the emergency protection order does not include documentation of previous criminal or domestic violence history. According to Carl Devine, a Fayette County Family Court judge, petitioners aren't always aware that they can include information on past actions of aggression to add context to what is going on. We don't get any history between these parties or either party as individuals, he said. We don't have anything else to go on besides what's in the petition, and we will have the information that they have had an emergency protection order in the past history or domestic violence history. So if you are in a situation like this, please include all the information from the past because it could save your life. If the order could have been granted, there are organizations there in the courtrooms where they can put a person in a woman's shelter or protective custody type of situation right then and there to keep them safe. I know that he could have broken the order, but we will never know if it could have saved her life. Now, instead of a hearing that was scheduled for November 30th for the protective order, her husband was arraigned on November 30th for her death. Please comment your thoughts on this. I would like to say that if you're in a situation where you're planning on filing for an order of protection and you live in the same home with the person, don't go back. Have some other plans set up where you can go somewhere else because it is not guaranteed, so you don't have to go back into that same situation in that same space because you never know what can occur and how quickly it can occur. It was like she was so close. She filed the order. She had a date of November 30th coming up to hopefully get the full order. She filed for divorce, but I wish she could have got out of his sight. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family in this difficult time. And as always, remember, stay woke. Things change quickly.
Tina's daughter, Tamara Glover, was not at this afternoon's arraignment, and when asked about the protective order that was not immediately granted, she simply said she wants justice for her mom. She also wants the community to know who Talina was.
My mother, she was a queen. Like I said before, she was my best friend, my twin. I'm so glad she blessed me with her looks, and I look just like her. And I know when people see my face, they feel sad, but it's like, don't feel sad. When you look at me, you see her face.